The Golden Glove Finals are coming up in Cleveland, Ohio, and Noel Salwan is here with us, who we've had on the show numerous times before. Very exciting time of the year. The Golden Gloves are upon us.
It's back. It's that time of year, an 82-year Cleveland tradition. And these guys, I got to say, this might be the best set of athletes that we've ever had in Cleveland. And, you know, to top it all off, they have people willing to step up to go against them. We have ranked and national champs, and we have people that are willing to step up and fight them in hometown rivalries. Now, a little bit about the Golden Gloves. 82 years it's been here. You know, it started in Chicago in 23, and there was a Chicago Tribune started it. And then the Plain Dealer picked it up and started a local tournament here in Cleveland.
The Plain Dealer picked it up from Chicago as the second city to do so?
Yeah. So
interesting.
So the Plain Dealer was like the backbone of it for like the first 40 years.
One of the pioneers next to the Tribune. Very interesting.
Yeah. So when you have the newspaper, which back in 1929 was basically the main medium promoting the event, it was probably the biggest thing going on at the time. So everyone would come out to it, and there's always those stories you hear about packed houses at Public Hall and, you know, it being sold out months in advance. Well, those days are long gone, but the quality of the action is even better, because we have this year, we have a returning Olympian, a 2008 Olympian from Cleveland, Ohio, who's not only staying amateur, but he's fighting in these local tournaments. And not only is he fighting in these local tournaments, but there are kids in this city saying, I want to see what I could do against.
Is that
Olympian.
Williams?
Yeah, it's Noel Williams.
I want to ask you about the individual boxers. Before I do, Noel, this event, the finals are actually when? April 17th, is that correct?
April 17th is the finals.
Okay, and by the way, we are going to tape that on Sports Time Ohio, so it will be aired, but that doesn't mean you can't go in person. And how does one acquire tickets for the event?
Tickets, you could get the tickets by calling the Golden Gloves office or going online at clevelandamateurgg.com, or you can just put Cleveland Golden Gloves in Google and it'll pop right up, and you'll get all the information you need.
You got it at Brown Stadium.
It'll be at Brown Stadium on the 17th in the North Hall, which is on the same side as the lake. But this week, on the 9th and the 10th, this coming Friday and Saturday, we have our quarterfinals and semifinals at the Masonic Hall, and that's at the corner of West 28th and Franklin, which is right behind Lutheran Hospital in Ohio City. So that's 2831 Franklin Boulevard, Cleveland, Ohio, 44113.
Let me ask you about some of these boxers. Antonio Nieves, ranked number 5 in the United States at 119.
Oh yeah, and he was ranked last year too. This is a kid who trains regularly. I mean, he's in the gym all the time. You know, the off season when there's not too many tournaments or fights going on, he's in the gym training at the Old School Boxing Club, which happens to be in the upstairs of the Masonic Hall I just mentioned, where the fights are going to be at this weekend. And he's a good kid. You know, all these Cleveland boxers are good kids. It's really something special. It makes you proud to be a part of it, because our mission is to provide an honorable environment for them to exercise their sport, their trade, and to do it with dignity. You know, and they do it, and they do it with honor. And you know, there was an incident at a boxing show about a month ago where a kid lost a match and he was upset. He stormed out of the ring, and the Lake Erie Association officials said, we can't do that. I mean, they were really nice with him. They said, we can't do that in this environment. You know, this is an honorable environment. You do what you do in the ring. You shake hands with the other gentlemen, and you go on about your business. And the kid said, you know, you're right, and I'm sorry I did that. And he took the microphone, and in front of the whole crowd, he apologized for what he did, and he said, you know, you all are better than that. You support us. You come and support us, and we train hard, and we owe you more than that. And he got a standing ovation. And, you know, he did wrong in an instant. He stormed out of the ring and stuff like that. But, you know, at the end of the day, he learned from it. I think it's going to be something that'll stick with him for his whole life. Certainly it'll stick with me to see a young man, you know, step up like that and acknowledge fault and then be a good kid on the spot.
How about Zeddy Adams? Number 1 in the country, 141's his weight.
Yeah, 141. Now Zeddy, you know, last year he came up from the juniors, so he was basically a kid coming up, and he fought Darren Wilder in the Golden Gloves and went on to the Nationals. He had his rematch with Darren Wilder this past weekend, and talk about hometown rivalries. You know, last year he was a young kid coming up, trying to make his way. Now he's number 1, and Darren said, "What's up now?" And they went at it. It was a great fight. I got to give it to both of them. Zeddy came out on top, but But Darren, incredible boxer.
Eddie Alessia, number 2 in the country at 152.
Yeah, 152. Just a week ago, he was representing the United States, fighting the Italian national team, and now he's back home in Cleveland having to deal with his hometown rivalries. So here are these guys. They're ambassadors for the United States. They're representing us in other cities and other countries, and here they're going to come home and they got to test their mettle here. They got to see what's going on. So Eddie will be fighting this coming weekend. So if you come, you'll get to see the number 2 152-pound boxer in the country.
Terrell Goshoff, the United States national champion at 165.
This is a perfect example of a kid who's a workhorse. I mean, he won the national title last year, came home fighting in fight shows. Most of the time with these kids, whether from any part of the country, they'll win a national title. Oh, I'm too good for that. I'm too good to fight in a local show. I'm too good to go down here and do this and that. No, not Terrell. Terrell, and all these kids are like this too. They have the same mentality. It's like, I'm going to box as much as I can to be the best so that I can pursue my Olympic goal with vigor, and they're doing it. Terrell's a perfect example. 27 fights. He told me that a few weeks ago. He said, I had 27 fights in 2009. I said, geez. That's amazing.
Speaking of the Olympics, that brings us to Raynell Williams, the 2008 United States Olympian.
Raynell's, he's just an amazing athlete in person. And you know what, this kid, whenever his boxing career is going to come to a close, I bet you he's going to start his collegiate education soon. He wants to be an accountant. Okay, he's an Olympian. He could probably get a signing bonus and go pro. He wants to be an accountant. But the thing is, if he could be a pro boxer and go to college and work towards his professional goals as an accountant, great. You know, he'll also work towards his Olympic goals. 2012, he wants to go to the Olympics again. You know, and then maybe he'll be a professional boxer. But the whole idea is these kids really have a lot going on. They impress me, man. They inspire me.
Noel, is there a name that we haven't talked about that may surprise some people with the semis and the finals this year?
You know, just the other day, neither one of these guys was ranked. Andre Hines Jr. and Ryan Forbes. Neither one of them were ranked, and they're fighting at 178 pounds the first week at the gloves. And I was watching the fight, and the whole place was going crazy, and mouthpieces were flying everywhere. People were, you know, one of the guys got a mouthpiece knocked out. The bell rang. He went, picked up his mouthpiece, went to the corner, and said, "I'm ready to do this again." Finished up the fight, fighting strong. They both. I didn't know who won the fight. I said, leave it to the LEA judges because I have no idea. But either one of those guys, I'd be proud if Cleveland had someone like that representing us in the national tournament, because either one of them could beat anyone in the country.
You're on the board of the directors for the Golden Gloves. Tell us about that, and are there any former boxers as yourself on the board?
Oh yeah, there's several former boxers, and then there's a lot of boxing fans. Marty Healy's a former boxer, Terry Gallagher, Joe McCallick, Michael Chase, Mark Hare. Those are all former boxers. There's a couple guys who picked up boxing in the last few years. James Asher and Rob Namey, they picked up boxing recently. I think that's what got them interested in being involved with the Golden Gloves, and they got me involved. Their other board members are Linda Yaffanaro, Clyde Dunn, Vic Kalova, Margarita Schulman, Scott Reed, Tom Unick, Bob Dobbies, Carl Fixer, and Janine King and Mark Santo. They're all great folks and volunteers that are supporting a tradition. And that's the important thing to note, is that not only is our board entirely volunteers, but it's a 501c3, and it's a charity organization. So donations could be written off, and you know, people's participations and our sponsors' participation in the finals and having a table, all that stuff, you know, a good portion of it can be written off.
About the Plain Dealer and Cleveland being the second city, so to speak, in promoting what is now an incredible nationwide amateur competition.
Oh yeah, when I was in college in the 90s, I don't want to say when, but I did a certain project about Golden Gloves history in Cleveland, because I was in the Golden Gloves, and the instructor said, if you're in it, you should do this. So I went to the library and found they would have inserts in the Plain Dealer, and they would make cartoons of the different fighters, and it took up like most of the sports page.
Right. It
was a major event in Cleveland, and they promoted it like that. It was really something special.
Boy, you've got a great memory, Noel. I'll tell you, I'm going to recommend to Kilkenny that you guest substitute host when I go on vacation, and I need more of it too. Hey, so I'll put the word in for you. Noel, you do a super job. You and the rest of the members of the board. Best of luck. Check out that website for information. Go in person. We're going to be recording the finals, and you'll be seeing those on STO, but don't hesitate supporting these amateur boxers. Cleveland's own, the Golden Gloves. That's coming up this weekend. All right, when we come back, Ashley Collins with another STO Sports Update. Thanks, Noel.
Thank you.